Hello,
Welcome.
listeners. This is the 20-year-old movie podcast. It is I, the joke man, joking on every loser, the Motor City Motor Mouth, Joel, sweet baby Jay Walkowski, and I'm sitting in with my co-host.
Matt, the iPad Anderson, bringing you all the facts and information and clips.
iPad is a good nickname for you because you are square and usually broken. And our guest...
I'm not going to lie. It kind of felt like you were about to begin the intro and you really swept in. Is that what happened? You're like, hey, and then it was like...
I am the alpha, the omega, the one and only of movie discussions in this quiet part of Astoria, Queens. And let's say hello to our guest this week. He is a prominent African-American comedian.
Yeah.
Please welcome Raanan Hershberg.
My first name could work for that. That sounds like a black woman's name.
Yeah, Raanan.
One Google search away.
Yeah, I'm celebrating
the
Kwanzaa at Renan's house.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So this is the 20-year-old movie podcast. This week, we picked American History X.
Yes.
And by we picked, I mean we wanted to have Raanan on the show, just discussing movies with him. I know he's got a great mind for them.
Sure.
He knows a lot of movie trivia that he's very proud of.
Okay.
You told me that.
I thought I was proud of it. I said those words. I said, I know a lot of movie trivia and I'm very proud of it.
No,
sound like it sounds it's a little too autistic-y for me.
No, because Raanan and I...
Joel, I want you to know I know a lot of movie trivia and I want you to know I'm very proud of it.
I swear to God, I will go. I have receipts on this, my man.
Yeah.
Raanan and I, we roast battled back in January.
Oh, shit.
That's like a competitive comedy if you don't get booked. And
Oh, boy.
I do it a lot, so I have like probing questions I ask. And I asked Raanan, what are you proud of? And he said...
Did I say movie trivia?
You said, I know a lot of movie trivia.
Well, I didn't know what to say. Like, I'm like not proud of anything. So I threw something out. I'm not really proud of it. I just can't put. What did you say? What were you proud of?
I'm proud of not drinking. I'm proud of having not living in Michigan once I got old enough to live in Michigan.
Okay, I'm proud of both those things too.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
I was never born in Michigan, and I'm still proud that I don't live there.
I'm gonna drown you in our lead water.
Well, I looked at the list, and American History X was always a movie that was just a weird movie for me. Just a very, I believe the term they use now, the kids use is problematic, right? I don't like that term, but like if you know,
Yeah, it covers a lot of stuff. And it was controversial back in the day, too.
yeah, it just feels didn't the movie feel very like. Kind of like it was trying to be like anti-racist, but deep down, kind of racist.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the message of this film is like pretty anti-racist, but if you cut out like 6 or 7 different scenes and just put them on YouTube,
The basketball scene is the ultimate white fantasy, like racist moment.
Yeah.
That's first of all unrealistic
Right.
on every level. Like,
Yeah. You're going to be playing basketball with a chain wallet?
yeah.
Are you kidding me?
They're playing a chain wallet. It's an extremely obese guy. Who, by the way, if you look at him, he actually lost a lot of weight. Looks very good now on IMDb.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, we got some before and after
Oh,
photos.
okay.
yeah,
for
I mean,
later,
he was probably the most prominent obese actor of the 90s. Like every time you needed an obese guy,
you went to him?
he was the call.
I'm glad that even in American History X, there's a fat friend being the goofy fat friend.
He had his own yellow page.
I remember he was on Boy Meets World, and they had to cast someone
Wait,
as
really?
his father.
Because the father in Boy Meets World is in this too.
Yeah, the father is.
This
There's
is just
lot,
a Boy Meets World reunion.
Hey, we're going a little bit fast here. Before
Only Finney was the head of the Nazis. That would have been perfect.
yeah, just rant about how Corey Matthews' hair is too damn curly.
But yeah,
Matt, before we get into it,
Sure.
you've got a minute. We'll put it on the clock.
All right.
Explain what this movie is about
Okay,
and
sure,
why
sure.
it's interesting for us to talk about it.
Do you want me to do the clock?
I can do the clock. You don't have to do everything technology related around
All right.
here. And go.
All right, so we've got Edward Norton, he's a former Nazi, but he starts out, they tell the story kind of out of order, right? So he starts off really as a Nazi, but he's a former Nazi who got raped in prison, and now he's trying to teach his family a lesson about don't get raped like me in prison. Let's all be nice to these black guys because they're actually kind of cool. Learns about that in prison, but there's a lot of gross scenes in there, like the bite the curb.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of hard to watch,
Sure.
But overall, like a very powerful movie that starts with nature, ends with nature.
That's what's powerful for a movie for you. If it just opens with a beach and ends with a beach.
I mean, it's unrelated.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Very deep movie.
Yeah.
Opens with a beach,
Yeah.
ends with a beach.
Did you see the sunset? So beautiful.
Nazi, 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 Nazi beach.
The message of the movie is
Yeah.
that you can rape the hatred out of someone. I believe that's the message.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think the message of this movie is if you're running the Aryan Brotherhood in prison and you give one of your followers a raping, you better come with that good dick. Like Edward, my takeaway from this movie is that Edward Norton stopped following the Aryan Brotherhood because the leader came too quickly.
You know what I thought when they were raping him? I thought I was like, what if someone has there ever been a time where someone's raped someone in prison and they couldn't get it up? And it was like really embarrassing for the other guys around him. Like
Embarrassing for everybody.
Yeah, this doesn't usually happen. And they're all like, oh boy. So just take your time, just pressure. You know what? We'll rape you another time. Let's take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can't get it up and you're like, hey, I'm sorry for two things.
Sorry for raping you and not being able to rape you.
Have you guys ever been raped in prison?
No.
This would be very awkward if the answer was yes.
Yeah.
No, I've never been. I know I would be raped if I was in prison because I believe, I'm not certain, but I saw Deliverance and I believe they see the bigger guys as more womanly, right?
Oh.
Like they see
That makes sense
me,
because
they
they got
see me,
boobs?
yeah, they see me, they see my breasts.
Yeah, but you've also got like the fullest beard of anyone I know.
It's perfect for them. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I believe I would be raped in prison.
Yeah,
I mean, we'd all be raped in
I
prison.
mean, your head does
sure.
look like a Greek lady's pussy, so that would go pretty well in prison.
You know, in prison, you either have to rape or be raped, and both of them sound not enjoyable.
Yeah, it's either be raped, or get your associate's degree.
But I do like. I like the twist at the end of the movie where you realize Edward Norton was right the whole time. Black people are bad. You know that twist. Isn't that ending so? No, but seriously, like I don't support that. But isn't the ending kind of weirdly?
That was a twist. They set up Norton getting killed, and then the little brother.
But then it's like, what? A black guy shoots the brother, so it's like, was he right?
Did we know that character from earlier? Was
Yeah,
that
he's the kid in the
bully?
bathroom. He blows the smoke in his face.
Yeah,
shouldn't have done that,
and
by
he's
the way.
and I believe he has he's hanging out with the guys on the basketball court who end up being murdered in the robbery. So they basically
What robbery? You mean the robbery of Edward Norton?
Yeah.
No, I think you're combining two things.
No, the guys from the basketball court robbed him, but earlier he was hanging out with those guys on the basketball court.
No, there's two different. You're confusing black people in this movie. I think one of them. I believe there's a scene in the present where the black kid is hanging out with black people on the basketball court in the present after all that shit went down, and he points to Edward Furlong, who's just watching them. And he fingers them and goes, "We'll figure it out. Like we'll give you a gun to shoot him."
Oh yeah, you might be right.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy.
No.
Yes. I'm totally right.
I mixed together two scenes shot at the same location.
You mixed
That's
together
fine.
two
And it was
black people.
and white. Come on.
Yeah,
It's
this-
hard to tell.
This is as embarrassing as when I saw it. Viola Davis was in Black Panther. I saw Black Panther and afterwards. I was like,
Oh, my God.
Man, I thought Michonne from Walking Dead was Viola Davis. And I was like, dude, I was talking to my friend. I was like, how did they get Viola Davis to do all those kicks and shit? Like, she's so old. And my friend was like, that's not Viola Davis. And I was like, no.
It's that same technology they use for Yoda.
That's what I thought. I thought it was a CGI shit. But yeah, it is a weird ending. Like it's like a weird kind of. I think the whole movie has. I really do think the whole movie has this. It's trying to be like anti-racist, but that's a very simplistic message on the surface. But deep down, the guy who like created it, he's glorifying the neo-Nazis. They're always looking cool. Every shot of them feels like, I wrote this down, there are parts where if Nazis wanted to make a propaganda of themselves, it would be filmed the exact same way.
Yeah, they just edit it
Yeah.
and take out all the good nature stuff.
Yeah, just the lines, but like there's so many slow motion shots of him in black and white with his swastika, which by the way, you can't be buried in a Jewish prison with a tattoo. I don't know if he knows that. I don't know if that's a concern for him.
Right.
But
Sir, I've got an opinion about your tattoos. You might want to reconsider.
but like doesn't it seem like it kind of glorifies them a lot? That's my takeaway.
Absolutely. Well, this place kind of this movie takes place in Venice Beach, and the character who kind of like ran that the group of young Nazi youths, like that's based on a real guy, and he recruited around Southern California.
And it looked like he had abs, too. Like they really did.
He looks good.
Stylize it.
Edward Norton looks better in this movie than he did as the Hulk.
Yeah, well, he gained. Well, but he didn't have to gain weight to play the Hulk, like because he's playing Bruce Banner. He gained 30 pounds of muscle for this.
Yeah, Edward Norton got huge in this.
But the Hulk, the one he turns into, looks better than that, or bigger.
I don't know. It's pretty close.
What if like Bruce Banner just turned into this Nazi? If he looked better.
Like in 1998,
they should combine the two movies.
Becoming a Nazi you have to get jacked, you have to shave your head and grow a goatee. If you became like a Nazi in 2018 and be like, all right, you need to research this part, get on Reddit.
Yeah. You can be fat on Reddit. You don't.
Here's your cheeky torch.
You don't have to be in shape anymore.
Not at all.
I mean, Edward Furlong was some kind of pussy emo Nazi. I don't know what he was going for.
Yeah, they say they're the superior race, but even just hate saying the word race.
Yeah, it's true though. You don't. None of the Nazis nowadays are in shape.
Yeah, like all the Nazis I meet today, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not particularly impressed.
Yeah, they're not even doing free weights at the gym. It's embarrassing. They're like on the elliptical. It's bullshit. But I don't know. I really feel like from the basketball scene to the just the slow motion shots of him with his shirt off.
Sinking shots and 2 basketball movies in a row, by the way, for our podcast.
He got 2 very different ones.
Right.
I like that you consider this a basketball movie.
Well, my favorite basketball movie
this on the court,
is American History X.
It is weird that they like Edward.
My favorite movie about red coats is Schindler's List. That's my favorite coat movie.
Yeah, you're going to play a Nazi. What character traits should this black-hating character have? What if he loves basketball? And even in the basketball scene, like you see Derek, as played by Edward Norton, on the sidelines going like, look at this guy showboating. And then he gets on the court, immediately throws a behind-the-back pass.
And immediately becomes Harlem Globetrotters.
And that scene was so funny to me because they cast some pretty good basketball players to go alongside him. But then Edward Norton in this scene, he does a dunk, and then they cut to 2 different camera angles to make the dunk seem realistic.
That was Nazi porn. That scene was Nazi porn. It was
if you join the Nazis.
It was them, and I know it was Nazi porn because I was hard. That's how I know. It was Nazi porn because there's no way they could have beat them, right?
Absolutely not. One guy weighed 400 pounds. I bet Ed Norton's real life height is about 5'6". I wanted to work. I wanted to work in the art department of this movie just so I could bring in the 7-foot basketball hoop.
How could they have filmed that scene with any sense of like a lack of shame?
Right.
Just to be like, all right, just to say to the black guys in the movie, all right, you're going to lose right now. You're going to be destroyed by Edward Norton, who, by the way, still looks scrawny to me. I know, like, I remember him being more muscly. He still looks skinny. And this guy who's like fucking so fat, and they destroy them. It's like in Rocky when the white guy beats the black guy. I don't know Rocky.
You mean Rocky?
It felt like
I was being racist for both of them. I said white guy beats the black guy. It would have been much worse if I said Rocky beats the black. You know what it was? I couldn't remember the black guy's name, so I made them both anonymous. So I didn't have to say, when Rocky beats the black guy.
Well, Rocky drew with a black guy Apollo Creed once. Then he beat Clubber Lang, so he's 1-1.
I'm talking about the one where Chris Rock talks about it. I'm watching Rocky, and he's beating. He beats a black guy, and I'm like, man, that's Spielberg something else. You know that joke? Which is very funny because it's also him confusing white people.
That's so funny.
The idea of black people just thinking every white movie is made by Spielberg.
All Spielberg movies are directed by Sylvester Stallone.
But yeah, that basketball scene is such fucking nonsense.
It felt like that trampoline, like halftime they come out and they can jump way too high and they're like in between the legs tricks and shit.
It would have been great. Like the whole thing where you said like he said don't you're showboating too much. It would have been great. He's like, oh man, he's showboating, and then he just starts doing cartwheels right away.
Like I want him to.
I want a great airplane moment.
Just as like a basketball fan is like, okay, this guy's fundamentally sound. He's gonna come into this game and throw some bounce passes.
Also, that means Edward Norton watches basketball. He talks about it in prison.
Yeah.
He must be so furious all the time, just watching black people. Like, well, how does a neo-Nazi even watch? How do they not have that scene? That would have been an interesting scene, right?
Right.
Like,
right.
What do you feel? What does a neo-Nazi feel? Because he's what is he fan?
He's
of
a
the Lake?
Boston Celtics fan.
Sorry. Larry Bird. Okay,
yeah,
so that
Larry
makes sense.
Bird, Kevin McHale, Danny Ainge.
All right.
Yeah.
Never mind. I get it.
The Celtics
They really
like-
are the team for white supremacists.
Absolutely.
Did they have any special black players back then with those guys?
They had Robert Parrish. They had Dennis Johnson, but like it was Bird's
But he's
team.
basically saying fuck because it's
Yeah.
Magic Johnson on the Lakers.
Yeah,
right?
and a lot like that's kind of a cliche too. Like they took that element right out of Do the Right Thing too.
The basketball,
That conversation scene,
Okay.
like Larry Bird being used as like a
The
vehicle
white,
for racism, like that's lifted straight out of there. Like there was one character who was like evil and Do the Right Thing just because they were a Larry Bird
Well, I
fan.
mean, the whole thing with the prison with that black guy is awful. It goes back to the whole that the movie really is at its core kind of racist. Is that the whole movie? You see these neo-Nazis being so powerful, beating black guys at the court, and then the one black guy who warms his heart is the humorous clown who's just making jokes, and then that's the moment where Edward Norton's like, I forgot. Black people can be funny. And that's where like he gets raped and then he remembers black people can be funny. And that's such to have the black comedian guy be because he's non-threatening, to have that be the moment that helps further him. There's just so much subconscious prejudice in this movie around from the idea of a black clown to them beating the black guys in basketball, to the horrible curb stomping, which is filmed in this gross slow motion, which is just so like glorifying and like it just feels like from that to black guy shooting Edward Furlong at the end, making you hate that black kid. It feels like half and half. This movie, it feels like it feels divided. Like it's like partially anti-racist and partially kind of racist.
But how did the sunset make you feel after all that?
well, it is
Awful, because it had the narration of Edward Furlong, his essay, which, by the way, is a terrible essay. In the essay, he's writing, so I guess I got to have a conclusion right now. Like, what are you writing that?
It was 90s eggs.
I guess what I should say. What do you mean, I guess what I should? They say he's a genius kid. He's like, and he's saying it to the teacher in the essay. He's like, all right, I guess what I should say right now is hatred has a lot. It literally ends with him going, hatred is bad.
He should really have more than one day to write that paper, though. Right?
Well,
yeah.
Edward Norton gets raped in prison, then a black comedian, real life and in the movie, makes him feel better. Wouldn't it have been funny if they cast Bill Cosby? This black comic's going to make you feel better about the rape. Ladies and gentlemen, the doctor.
I think at its core, too, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of this shit's based on real shit. But at its core, the reason for him becoming a neo-Nazi is really trite to me, and it doesn't feel emotionally accurate. I feel like neo-Nazis are loners who are looking for a group. The idea of just his father getting shot by a black guy, it just doesn't seem... Is that a real thing?
Yeah, the weird thing about this is I think the one thing that kind of held this movie back was the setting. Like this taking place in Venice Beach, one of the more renowned melting pots in
Yeah.
Venice Beach is like
you live there, right?
I lived in California for a little bit. I went out
I
to
feel like you were homeless there, maybe.
I was a street performer in Venice Beach.
That's
actually,
close.
like
You said street performer, I just heard homeless.
I was living out of an RV at the time.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
My
okay.
street performer was pretty good. I would wear this
Let me get this straight. You didn't say homeless. I deduced homeless when you said it.
I was stealing food to get by at that point, so it wasn't great for me.
Yeah, no, I understand. You're homeless. Yeah.
Yeah, first, let's start that rumor. It'll end to my street cred.
I don't think it's a rumor. I think it's a fact.
Well, I mean, yeah. the
You
beach
were
is so
in an
nice.
RV. You did. What is it? An RV or a car?
RV.
Well, if it's an RV, I guess.
Did you shower down in the beach showers?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So like California homeless,
Yeah.
How did you
like
afford a trailer?
it was $1,500.
Oh.
And I had $1,600. I spent $1,500 on the trailer. I spent $50 on 2 dogs, and then the dogs started eating the trailer.
$50 dogs.
What? You bought 2 dogs?
Yeah.
What like Jack Kerouac minor novel were you trying to like recreate?
Very close. I was trying to do Ken Kesey and the Merry Pranksters. So right movement, wrong author.
All right. Well, you just made it. You had if it was just a regular car, I would say homeless because technically you wouldn't have a home. But I guess RV is kind of a home. So all right.
Yeah. I was the kind of homeless where you could tell I had a college degree.
Okay. Yeah. But what were you saying? Venice Beach?
Yeah,
melting?
it takes place in this like very experimental town, and it didn't really check out to me from an emotional level that this kind of hatred would bloom in that place. And like you see Ed Norton in the laundry with the prisoner who ultimately wins him over to the black and like other races.
Right. Yeah.
Like
also,
have you not met a black person before?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like living in that area, it's got to be so hard to be racist. That's like living in New York and being like, yeah, I would never take the subway.
Right.
It's
It's just minority. Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, also, why would Nazis be playing basketball with black people? I don't understand. They just like,
Right.
I could see them playing
Why
with,
would they? Yeah.
I could see them doing that in prison because they have no choice. But isn't it weird that Nazis are spending their recreational time with black people?
Yeah.
We want to hang out on these basketball courts.
If you heard an article about Nazis playing basketball with black people, you'd be like, I don't think they're Nazis. I don't think they know what, like.
Yeah. We've got to get these black people out of the Baptist church.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like a weird, none of it seemed believable. None of it.
Absolutely not. And this thing was so heightened, and it is kind of like that violence, like when you went into like violence or disturbing thoughts in this like time of filmmaking, the impulse was to just really raise the stakes, like from an artistic level. Like this movie reminded me a lot of the Basketball Diaries.
Yeah.
Where it's just like everything is so over the top, it's not really grounded in anything, so it loses emotion.
I did the slow motions and everything bugged me. Not just them, like when
yeah,
Beverly D'Angelo, when she walks outside, when what's his name, Elliot Gould runs away like the Jew coward he is, and
he's gone.
I gotta
dear.
get out of here.
He's gone.
But
You don't know them anymore.
but the way they have the slow motion of her just collapsing on the street, like it's just like so. I fucking hate that slow motion
Right.
bullshit. Just show things realistically.
Right.
It didn't make it. It's the camera trying to make you feel something, and every time
Right.
that happens, I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything when he curb stomped that guy. I would have been really disturbed if they just would have shown it, but instead they go, oh, like with the slow motion. It's just like too much. The directing was so fucking over the top. Trying to,
so-
And
Yeah,
you can
a little-
tell the director came from music videos.
Yeah, this
Did he?
is his
Okay.
first real movie.
Well, that
He did
totally
music
makes sense,
videos,
yeah.
And you know what? The director, I don't, not to shift gears here, but
Yeah.
the director
Tony
hated
K.
this movie.
Tony
Yeah.
KKK.
is he the one who did the Childish Gambino music video? Still having black people getting shot all these years. I sense a motif.
No, he got in a big fight with the studio that put this out. He sued them for $270 million
Yeah.
because he wanted there to be a different ending. Where after Ed Norton finds out his brother dies, he goes in the mirror and shaves his head.
To become a neo-Nazi.
Yeah.
You know what? I would have loved that. But that would have been so racist.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Here's what the movie is. And that makes total sense. Here's what this movie is. Here's what I think. This movie is a superhero movie. And there's an origin story. And he's becoming the neo-Nazi. That's the superhero. And the ending he wanted is him putting on his Batman suit again. That's what it is. And you can tell there's a moment, and that's why it's so uncomfortable. There's a moment in the beginning, in the second scene, which is awful, where it's just like the most exposition-y scene where the cops bring the teacher in and he explains like everything about what happened. And then he's like, here's a video. And he takes a tape.
Oh, yeah.
And he plays the video.
It was so funny when they played the video because it's like, yeah, we have this video courtesy of NBC. These cops have to attribute it.
Edward Norton looking like he's like in a Dare commercial from the 90s. Or do you play it on
we don't need to play the audio of this scene, Matt. I'm going to argue that. Your Wi-Fi's out again anyhow.
Yeah, it is gone. But
dude, that part, honestly, it really reminded me of like, in Batman, the Michael Keaton Batmans, they'd always show how the bad guy got turned into the bad guy. They'd have like a dramatic scene, Joker falling into the vat, Penguin, and then they got lazy. And by Batman and Robin, they just have Batman play a video of Arnold Schwarzenegger falling into the. That's what it reminded me of. It just showed a video of him becoming the superhero
And it is weird because you see that like there's this principal character who exists just to like hold the story together.
Yeah.
Like he is the framework of the story. He's involved with the younger brother.
He gives the class American history.
He's working with the cops all the time.
Yeah, what are the cops where it's like we've got racism going on in our community. Let's hit up the high school principal.
Yeah.
Also, some of his lines are real corny. He says some bad. There's a part I wrote down in that scene.
Deep Space Nine captain.
He is not. He's a pretty corny actor. What is it? What did it? It was. They're like, if we don't stop this, something very ugly could happen on the beach. Do you remember that line? It's just like,
yeah, my street performing.
it was referencing your street performing.
Yeah, and I did think you kind of check out from this movie like 2 scenes in because the principal is like, he's teaching this course to the younger brother. He's like, the name of this course will be American History X.
Yeah. That whole thing's awful.
He said it.
The name of this course, Nazis are bad.
It is tough. You're right. He gives a Nazi a day to change and write an essay about it.
It's weird.
And he does.
It seems like the principal.
And he nails it.
Seems like the principal's the one acting like a real Nazi.
Who's the Nazi now? Come on. He needs at least a week. Give it at least a day to change everything he believes in, and then at least a week to write an essay.
One of my great unanswered questions about this movie is, do the Nazis surf?
Yeah, they probably surf with a bunch of Latinos, and they have a fight. This is our ocean. Whoever wins, whoever can surf the highest wave gets this beach.
We gotta take surfing back from these dirty Hawaiians. We all know this started in Germany.
The Nazis just keep on going into different recreations. We gotta get. All right, I don't know.
Can we just close our eyes for a second and imagine Hitler on a surfboard? The Sieg Heil is just developed to like keep your balance better.
That's why it was developed. It is true. Like the Nazis playing basketball, it's very whimsical. That should be they can have the beach one. It'll be like a fun beach movie. Yeah. They can go through everything, right?
Yeah, they'll
ping pong with Asians.
They can surf with their feet together.
They'll dig up Jesse Owens so they can beat him in a race.
There were some great. My favorite quote from the movie, though, which was when Edward Norton called Elliot Gould, "You Kabbalah reading motherfucker." I was like, he knows about the Kabbalah? That's a deep cut. Even Elliot Gould would have been like, Hey, you're reading up.
Hey, you can only say that if you're talking to Madonna.
That's just a deep cut. You Kabbalah reading motherfucker. You Yom Kippur observing 4 nights of Hanukkah. It's like you seem to know a lot about the Jews.
You mezuzah hanging bitch.
I want to see that Nazi who just knows a little too much. Like he clearly has an interest.
Yeah.
You mezuzah hanging, celebrating Shavuot like a minor holiday.
It like ends in a question.
Gefilte fish, latke eating, fresh, homemade, delicious latke eating.
And I did like that. Like halfway through the movie, we go back and we see the origins of his racism.
Yeah.
Edward Norton is eating dinner with
His firefighter dad.
another Boy Meets World alum,
Yep.
and his younger brother and his mom, and you can see that he is deeply entrenched in like black thought.
Yes.
He loves black literature. His principal's teaching this special course, and in the matter of one conversation, his dad changes all of his views.
Also, by the way, that part made me laugh. Because his dad basically says a somewhat, I don't agree with it, but a somewhat mild tempered argument against affirmative action. It's not that bad, but then ends it with, it's bullshit. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like it comes out of nowhere. Like he's just saying, all he was saying was, it's like such a stretch. All he was saying was the firefighters should not, like, it should have been more qualified firefighters. But then just that last line, didn't that seem like way more intense than everything else you were saying? That was crazy.
Well, they probably just had to add that note later on, like,
we just need to make,
we need to make it more.
And then he's like, I got a line.
and then he's a firefighter who's shot during a fire, which like,
Why was he shot?
that just seems like a good prank to me. you thought you were fighting the fire dog.
By the way, when they show Edward Norton on the thing courtesy of NBC, they get into a long dialogue. And I felt like he became a pundit of that news story. They're like, but what do you think about immigration?
Yeah, they asked him about
for a while.
Your dad just died. You don't even have time to get this speech from Ben Shapiro.
It's like a long, it's like, your dad just died. How do you feel? We need to limit immigration. But don't you think it's more about poverty? Well, this gets
It's like,
into
no,
it.
fuck that. No, that's bullshit.
Oh my, his outfit is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's wearing
He
like
looks
a
like Zach
backwards
Morris.
cap.
Ed Norton in the flashback scene is dressed like I usually dress.
Yeah.
Backwards hair, big forehead, some hair covering it up.
Is this playing over us? Or?
Hardworking Americans like my dad are getting rubbed out by social
Yeah, it's like
parasites.
goes on so long. He basically becomes like a CNN pundit.
Blacks, browns, yellow, whatever.
Blacks, brown.
They cut to the black guy here, the black cop, feeling upset in a second after he says the N-word. He also takes a long time to get to the N-word here.
Yeah. Unlike you, huh? You've dropped it twice.
Well, I was quoting. What am I going to do? Maybe you should bleep that out afterwards.
Yeah,
All right. It twisted my arm.
yeah. Just put kike over it.
But this is how little I assume people listen to this podcast. You know, it's an insult when the person starts saying things.
Did he take it seriously? No, he said the N-word.
Oh, I just don't think you have many listeners. I guess that's what that means. No, but maybe you can go ahead and bleep that out later.
Sure. I mean,
Why?
people have seen the movie.
But I mean, it's just a quote. It
Yeah.
did seem like a stretch, though, right? Like he didn't seem like that racist until that moment.
You're yeah, exactly. He's talking about affirmative action. He's like talking about test taking. He's like, don't you want your dad to have the best tests around him, protecting him?
And then he's like, ace the test, do good. I'm sure this teacher,
Yeah.
And then he's just suddenly like, black people are inferior. It's like, what?
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Like, you can, I support affirmative action, but you can be against affirmative action and not be racist. That's not the
Right.
same thing. That's just kind of a thing, right? Like, to equate the two in that part.
I mean, you don't have to go hard like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's just it's like a weird, I feel like if you're going to say it's N-word bullshit, I feel like the stuff before it. I feel like the stuff. I'm like Edward Norton. I've had a change of heart. I'm slowly growing. If you want to do that, I feel like the stuff before it should be more racist rhetoric. Like it should be more. It shouldn't be like. It shouldn't be like the firemen, because he's right. They should get the most. I also don't know if they really have affirmative action with firemen. I've never seen a black fireman in my life. That's not true.
I mean, have you seen New York firemen? I would take the average black person over them anytime.
But it's like, I don't think there's ever pressure to make it diverse in the fire. It's all white guys. But anyway.
Yeah, every New York firefighter looks like they own a tiling company.
I also think him saying the most qualified person, the person who did the best on the test should be, I will agree with that.
Sure.
If it's a fireman, yeah, I will agree with that. But then for him to go from that to like saying the other thing is just like crazy. Like they should have had him say something more of like, I don't know. They should have had something more,
Ed Norton became racist because someone shot at his dad and his black coworkers. Ultimately,
well, no, it's a 2-punch. His dad said the N-word.
His dad doesn't like certain books.
His dad doesn't like the native son.
Yeah. You got a question,
and then he got shot. His dad thinks the native son should be teaching Tom Clancy in school, not the native son.
And if a firefighter's going to fight a fire, there's no way you can really tell their race either. They're completely covered up.
Right.
Unless I want to see that they had that flashback scene where they make sure it's the white guy, so they go around and read the name on the back of his jacket.
I wonder who shot them. Why would they shoot them?
Yeah, why would
you? Seems so crazy. I
don't
think that's ever happened.
The only defense for shooting a fireman is if you want to hit the oxygen tank and make a huge explosion.
But also, did they shoot them while they were trying to stop a fire?
Which again,
that seems very inappropriate.
Good prank. Respectfully, I choose to side with the fire in this endeavor.
I feel like
maybe they were shooting at the fire.
I feel
they
like
just missed.
I feel like the writer.
That's what the black firefighters do.
I feel like that's one of the stories that they see the fire start shooting.
Man, we can't release this shit.
I feel like that's a story that you ever hear stories from someone you're like, I need way more information. I feel like they need a way more. They just say that in the movie and then they expect, oh yeah, a bunch of black guys killed a bunch of firemen. Yeah. Like what? Why? I don't understand. What were they wanting something?
Nah, they were just having a good time and a bunch of firemen showed up to their basketball court. We want to play this sport while wearing 80 pounds of equipment.
Were they there? Did they start the fire? Were they in the apartment building? Were they like, did they see the firemen and go like, oh shit, aliens, and shoot them? Did they think
they were wearing red?
I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand
Matt,
why that happened.
You've killed someone. Why do you do it? What goes through
That's
your
why
head?
he got raped in prison.
I've never killed anyone.
Would drone strikes count?
Okay. Yeah, it's just the rush, it just feels good.
Yeah, I'm sure Tony K's available. Can we call him right now and ask him if there's more information about?
We gotta
My favorite part about this entire guy is like he was so upset that they didn't like his cut of the movie that he like smashed Edward Norton's tape of the cut because Edward Norton made the last cut.
Yeah, Edward Norton made the last cut and apparently edited it so it showed more shots of him or something.
Yeah, that's what this guy says. And he's like, no, fuck that. He doesn't want to put his name on it at all. He's like, I'm going to go by Alan Smithy, but he already talks so much shit about the movie.
Right.
Yeah, you can't say why you're not putting your name on a movie. You can only not do it.
Right, but you know what the name he wanted to be on it, right?
Yeah, he's like,
the great white supremacist character, Humpty Dumpty.
He wanted it.
Humpty Dumpty, American History X.
Yeah, he fell off the wall, now wants to build one.
By the way, if it would have come out like that, you can't have a serious movie about race directed by, that's like Schindler's List, directed by Jack and the Beanstalk.
Okay, we're doing that thing. We need to explain what happened here.
It's so good.
Okay, what happened is this movie they were going through the editing process, and I don't know if you guys knew this, but only like 4 or 5 actors in Hollywood were ever given like final cut over a movie. And coming off of Primal Fear, Edward Norton got that on this movie.
After one fucking movie?
Yeah, because I don't think Ed Norton had a big one before this.
No, Primal Fear was his big. Was it just Primal Fear, American History X?
Yeah, I don't think there was much in between. There might have been like some minor
maybe Larry Flint.
Oh yeah, but that was just a supporting role too.
Yeah.
And then like they had disagreements, and then Tony Kaye wanted to take his name off the movie, and then when he wasn't allowed to take his name off the movie, at the end of the movie, he was going to say directed by Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah. He took out ads and trade publications
Do
to
you
talk
realize
shit about
how
the distributor.
insensitive that would have been? You just saw a black kid shoot Edward Furlong, a message about race by, I'm assuming, a quote on the beach about racism by either Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, I'm assuming, and then it just says, a film by Humpty Dumpty.
A Humpty Dumpty film.
They should have let him do it. They should have let him do it. Because people would have thought, people wouldn't have known he sued. People would have thought he was just born with that name. And he was born with that name, and he always wanted to make serious movies about race.
Yeah, I became racist once that Humpty Dance came out. The black community was a little mean to me.
I will make provocative racial movies. People will know my name, Humpty Dumpty.
That is the funniest shit in the world. And then he sued the production company for $270 million.
Well, here's the thing, though. Edward Norton, I'm sure, is a piece of shit, but he sounds crazy, too. They both sound like crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
You got to be when you're that big, you know?
Yeah, well, it's just like, I'm sure Edward Norton, yeah, he was extremely difficult to work on with everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's a reason why Ed Norton, like, fell off.
Yeah.
Can I pee real quick, then we'll get into Ed Norton?
Sure.
So in 1998, Tony Kaye could not realize his anti-racist vision. So 3 years later, he decided to dress up as Osama bin Laden and do a comedy open mic 3 weeks after September 11th.
So, I was watching the television last week. I'm not a comedian, by the way, I have to say. I was watching the television last week and I saw this on CNN, this awful man looking like this.
Someone's still just like doing their job as a guy's dressed like Osama bin Laden.
And I thought, well, I have to do that. To stand somewhere with a microphone and on a comedy stage, because I thought it would be very, very funny if people go there and a comedian stands on the stage and I think you'd kind of laugh.
And he is wrong.
Go there to laugh. But I tried to go on a comedy stage and I couldn't do it, and I managed.
I feel like this is a good Osama impression because he's bombing.
Why he goes all the way to do the costume, but he's still having like a British accent?
Yeah, he doesn't do a voice, doesn't have anything prepared.
He's committed so hard to the costume.
And like you have a Hollywood director coming in to do this open mic, you can't have someone set up the mics beforehand.
How great it would it be if Edward Norton just came on stage and started changing it? Like, I want it. Here's how you should go with this. Not again.
Edward Norton also is Osama.
Yeah, this is good, but Ed Norton's character Mohammed is much better.
But I'm not. But I do have the poem. I wrote a poem that night.
Do you guys want to hear this poem, or should I cut this bit off?
How good's the poem?
You
haven't seen it?
None of us have seen it.
Let's give it the first line.
Humpy, like a pension curve. A nuisance leading, surely so.
Man, I thought he was going to go Humpty Dumpty, sat on a wall.
So much.
And then Edward Norton pushed him off. And he cracked into a million pieces.
Oh, they're clapping for you.
Yeah, wait, people clapped for him after that?
I legitimately thought that was better than American History X. I think that's his best work.
I mean, I learned a lot about doing stand-up from the video. And honestly, like, you're not going to make me clown on this guy for doing stand-up as Osama bin Laden. I've done stand-up dressed as the Twin Towers, so I don't think that's...
You were dressed as both towers? How'd you pull that off?
I was dressed as one tower, and...
was this at a Wildcat show?
Yeah, it was a Wildcat show. We did 9/11 the musical, so... We did a story where I bullied Osama bin Laden for being gay when he was a kid. So the audience had to cheer for him to get revenge on me.
What horrible animals came to your show? Were they just all?
Well, a lot of people came
pack
to our
of rabid
show.
dogs.
About half of them stayed. Like our goal, like we did one for the New York Comedy Festival. So it was all like people in from like Long Island, and we walked 3/4 of the theater. When I did stand up as the Tower, like I did the old Martin Lawrence routine, and I talked about how all the lady buildings need to wash their shafts.
Stupid. When you guys did that CISO show, you guys got like ketchup on one of my new shirts. I remember sitting in the front row like a goddamn Gallagher show.
Yeah, you really get shit on the people's audience, right? You're not going to do that for our roast. You're not going to get shit on the audience, are you?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, well, we'll have to talk about that.
That's why we're not going to make this, because Raanan and I were doing this big character roast next Friday at the Creek and Cave.
Yep. This will not be out by then, I'm assuming.
No, it comes out Tuesday.
Oh, okay, great.
And in order to
is
promote,
this what you're talking about earlier?
Yeah.
You're not gonna get everyone messy.
Well, that's why I need the Black Panther to come in.
Oh, you need to be stopped from doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to actually ask him to do that, are you?
No.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be Thor, and then I'm going to take out my hammer. This guy, Danny Feltz, he has a 60-pound hammer that I'm going to pull out. It's going to be so funny. I'm going to let that beat hit, and then I'm going to take out a watermelon. And then I'm going to smash it unless some superhero who might like watermelon a little bit stops me.
Jesus Christ.
You know what? We should have a flip where it's someone else. It's not him. Because guess what? Everybody loves watermelon.
Yeah, they can stop me, then they'll give it to Black Panther.
That is a bullshit stereotype. Everyone loves watermelon.
Yeah, everyone loves fried chicken too. I don't understand the black stereotypes of like, oh, they love these universal foods.
Also, Jews loving money. Everyone cares about money.
Yeah.
I feel like you're disagreeing with that one. I feel like I lost you there.
No, I was just thinking about like, oh, black people love fried chicken. Have you ever met a Korean?
Yeah, they love fried chicken,
so
right?
So much.
Yeah, everyone. I mean, everyone loves fried chicken. I mean, everyone. I actually don't love fried chicken, but everyone loves watermelon. It's healthy and it tastes good.
Yeah, my best watermelon story is I was a camp counselor, and one of my kids had a hunchback. And he could do this, like, the hunchback allowed him to do this really powerful air hump.
What's the difference between a hunchback and a hump?
I think hump is like, it's on you. The hunchback, it's your shape.
Yeah, I don't think you can have a hunchback. I think you are a hunchback.
Okay, you are like a hunchback whale.
I thought you're saying the kid had a little hunchback guy with him. Like,
okay, this kid was a hunchback.
Yes.
And it allowed him to do this like really powerful air hump. So he could hump, like he would use the momentum of the like hunchback to just go like 6 feet in the air. And one day we did a talent show. So his act, we threw a watermelon up in the air, and then he humped it in half.
He humped it in half?
Yeah. He cracked a watermelon with his hump.
Was this your inspiration for Wildcats? It feels like in the spirit of Wildcats.
Yeah. I got it all on this, like, from 11-year-old boy.
So, yeah, Edward Norton, he's obviously, like, and he's, like, in nothing now, right? Like, I mean, that's the thing I said, you know, like, he was difficult to work with. That's what we were going to talk about, right?
Yeah, well, let's talk about Ed Norton right now.
Okay.
So Ed Norton, like, can you think of a better actor? Which actor had the better start to his career? Because like Ed Norton, straight out of the gate, like Primal Fear was such a noteworthy performance,
and it was such an actory performance because it was like he got to play. He literally the movie was literally about the character being a great actor. So like it was like the ultimate like role for a young actor, you know.
Yeah, you have two distinct character traits, and then he follows that up with Larry Flint and Rounders, and then he's given this American History X performance. And like, say what you will about the movie. Like, I know you didn't like it, Raanan. Matt, I know you really enjoyed the first half. But
well, what did you think? I feel like you've been agreeing with me this whole time.
I think it's a flawed movie, but I think it has a powerful message. And like, I think Ed Norton
that hate is bad?
You guys had already both seen it once, right?
Yeah.
As a kid?
As a kid, I thought the brother dynamic about how an older sibling impacts a younger sibling was very well done.
Yeah.
And seeing how Edward Furlong just kind of took his social cues and his like mannerisms from him was like an interesting wrinkle.
I thought it was interesting how he got like, well, until like his dad said that N-word shit. Like I was like, oh wow, subtle racism can breed a stronger racism.
Right.
But then his dad went full fucking.
It really reminded me about how
N-word.
my brother got me into Creedence Clearwater Revival.
At the dinner table.
Another gang.
I remember he said, only listen to white music, and he gave me that album.
Yeah, he
What if
just
he gave
brought
you a
up his
Juggalo
love.
album.
That was the second one.
But I do think, like, in the mix of this, like, flawed movie, like, Ed Norton gives a wonderful portrayal. And, like, with any, like, of the top shelf leading man actors, there's a certain physicality to them. And I think it's really amazing how Edward Norton uses his eyes and modulates his voice for, like, emotional effect.
I feel like he's the best acting he does in the movie. And it's, once again, kind of a little ruined by the slow motion directing but the look, it's on all the things. The look he gives after his skull, what's it called? Curb stomps?
Curb stomps.
The look he gives the brother when he's being handcuffed, he has the most like evil smile. He's like clearly, I mean, it feels like a lust murder. It feels like he's like aroused or something. It's a very disturbing moment. Am I projecting that? The
No,
arousal?
absolutely.
You nailed it.
And, like, not.
I mean, I was hard at the time, but I don't think I was projecting that.
And this
that's a very great acting choice because it wasn't like
He was also lit very dramatically, you know, and he had the Jesus abs, and he had to like turn around in slow motion. So it's like,
the
And then-
look was interesting. It was an interesting choice.
And they did it stylistically. It was a very 1998 device where everything in the past was black and white, but that allowed them to do some really stark, contrasting lighting on Edward Norton, specifically in that curb stomp scene that glorified him.
Well, and I think it goes back to the fact that he's a music video director. The style for a music video is not the right style for a gritty movie about neo-Nazis in Venice Beach. Like it's like music videos are always kind of fairly like they're what do you call it? They're a little
stylistic.
stylized, yeah. And it felt wrong for this to be stylized.
Yeah, it was almost like it was very almost sensual the way it was always like close-ups of muscles and tattoos and like
it felt
It's like
beautiful.
sensory,
yeah.
you know?
It was the wrong. And they needed like kind of more of a gritty independent filmmaker to make this.
Yeah,
They needed-
absolutely.
yeah.
Like Ed Norton's like laid up in a prison hospital bed after being raped, and the shot kind of glorifies him.
Oh Jesus, yeah, him. It was the water. It's like, what are you doing? That's why music videos are stupid. They're not. It's not art. Donald Glover sucks. Moving on. No, I'm just joking. But music videos are they're different.
What if he
We
just
can
put together this movie? He's like, I need to put together 27 music videos.
I
add
feel
dialogue.
I feel like we should put together Renan's Donald Glover sucks
the
and some of
Edward?
his earlier comments.
Yeah, you've been blasphemous.
No, I'm sorry. This is America is a great, deep exploration into how hot and cool Donald Glover is. if
He started comedy at the Creek.
yeah, someone told me that. Yeah, no, but that's not true. He started at UCB, I think, because the
Well, no, he
NYU
was one of the
sketch
first
show.
people who put on shows there.
He was he was the first person to start at the Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember seeing him in a sketch troupe years ago at NYU, and he was in a sketch troupe with two other people, and at one point they all took off their shirts and they were all jacked, and I'm like, everyone in a sketch troupe should not be fucking jacked. This is bullshit. And then I remember saying to my friend, that guy's never gonna make it. And now This Is
love
America
that.
has like 200 more views than my highest ranked video.
But what happened with Edward Norton? Because out of the gate, I can't think of an actor who had a better start to his career than him.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
'cause
he's
he
got a
went-
really good.
where did he fall off though? Like, did
Well,
he
he
fall
did
off?
Isle of Dogs. You know,
No, Wes Anderson just puts him in shit. But I mean, he was in
did
Birdman.
Birdman.
Birdman was his comeback.
which was like 4 years ago.
But before Birdman and after
did
American History X,
Moonrise Kingdom in
Well,
2012.
right after this movie, because keep in mind that he does Fight Club.
Fight Club.
He stars and directs Keeping the Faith.
Oh yeah,
Fun little romantic comedy.
I forgot about that movie.
He does the score with
Yeah.
Marlon Brando, Robert
Gets
De
to play a
Niro.
retarded
Yeah.
guy. Oh my god.
Yeah, and that was clearly a movie where he's the next one in the group. He's like he's the
they
next.
had just
yeah.
finished watching The Usual Suspects, and they're like, "We want that. We want that too."
Yeah, every great actor needs to play like a retarded guy once.
right.
Yeah, like he kept trying. He did efforts up until 2008, and then he just went away. And
because no one wanted to work with him. And you know why? I think he is a good actor, but I don't think he's great enough to justify being hard to work with. I'll say that. I don't think he's not fucking Robert De Niro, who's not hard to work with, and he's not Marlon Brando, who is hard to work with. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's as good. I feel like if he was better, I mean, he is good, but like, I don't think he's such an amazing, I don't think he's up there with them.
yeah, and he's also like not extremely versatile. In order for him
I
to
don't
play,
think he has crazy range, yeah.
in order for him to play a neo-Nazi, he needed to do one of the greatest actor transformations that I've seen.
30 pounds?
Yeah, like he trained like a superhero for this movie, which goes back to your earlier statement about that.
And honestly, yeah, it is a super, but honestly, I think outside American History X, isn't a lot of his parts kind of similar? He's kind of like
an outsider, a fast talker.
Why
and kind of just like
He got jacked. Maybe he could have been in that sketch troupe too.
yeah. What kind of sketch troupe doesn't have a fat guy? It's ridiculous.
Well, I just think all his roles, like, he just has this ability to be very, like, genuine when he delivers dialogue. So I think, like, that's Ed Norton's trademark. Like, you believe him, you empathize with him so well.
Yeah,
like, a
he's
movie
good
like Keeping
actor.
the Faith is, like, real Hollywood bullshit, but he does a good job in it.
Yeah.
A movie like Red Dragon, which is, like, a fun watch, he does a good job in it.
Yeah, I don't like that kind of part where you're just like sleepy and like dead inside.
I liked him as the Hulk. He played a pretty good Bruce Banner.
So apparently that guy apparently they wanted Edward. They wanted that wasn't Ang Lee. That was the other one, right? Apparently that director wanted Mark Ruffalo from the beginning. That's what I
Really?
read. Yeah, because he knew Edward Norton was hard to work with. Yeah.
But Ed Norton was just a big Hulk fan, so
Yes.
he pushed for that part.
That's the thing also, that because he was difficult, like Edward Norton could be huge right now because he could have, if he wasn't difficult to work with, he probably would have been in Avengers and he would have been huge, right? I mean, like he would have, like that was like, that would have been his big, big thing. That's, you can actually see, unlike a lot of things, you can actually see the fall of his career. You can see the other path it could have taken because he,
Right.
yeah, you can see Mark Ruffalo basically has his career. They would have kept him, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can see, like, in 2001 he worked with the score. Maybe young Ed Norton shouldn't hang out with Marlon Brando.
Well,
it's difficult to work with actors spending time with the difficult to work with actor king.
Yeah, right. Well, also, even on that movie, Marlon Brando wouldn't have the director be in the same room as him. The director was Frank Oz, and he just referred to him as Mrs. Piggy, and he refused to be in this. The director could not shoot the scenes when Marlon Brando was there.
That's so insane.
Yeah, no, that's not good. I don't know. Norton, yeah, Norton. I think Norton was also. You know what? Too. I think he might have been too difficult too soon.
Yeah, and the
Should
score
have given it 10 years.
disappointing. Death to Smoochie, disappointing. Red Dragon, disappointing. 25th Hour, one great scene, but disappointing.
What's this great scene?
The end of the 25th Hour, when there's that montage
People
saying
seem
about
to
what
like-
you'll do next. Like, I think that's one of the.
Oh, yeah,
I think
yes.
that's the best scene Spike Lee's ever directed. I think that's awesome. It's impactful.
So
People
your
seem to
favorite
like him
scene?
in the Wes Anderson movies, though.
Yeah, but in the Wes Anderson movies, like, you don't act in Wes Anderson movies. You're putting this ridiculous
Yeah.
cosplay
Right.
in front of a background that's like curated,
But
and you just deliver dry dialogue.
Just to go
doesn't.
back, your favorite scene in a Spike Lee movie involves a white person. Just to go back, your favorite
Yeah,
scene in a
that's true.
Spike
I
Lee
missed
movie is not the great moment in Do the Right Thing where he throws the trash can through the window, but a minor Spike Lee movie starring Edward Norton. That's your favorite Spike Lee moment.
In my defense, I like the montage because I have a limited attention span.
All right, so you did ADD over racism.
Yeah. I'm not racist. I'm distracted.
Well, Edward Norton, yeah. I mean, he's in Wes Anderson movies, but it's like a small part. He's kind of gone there to die. Like, he's like barely doing anything, It's not, he's done with having like tour de force roles,
And I feel like the one guy whose roles I think Ed Norton could really pull off is Ryan Gosling. I would
Yeah.
love to see Ed Norton if he were to take on a role like Half Nelson. I could see him making Drive
It's
work.
kind of funny. Ryan Gosling, when he came out as Half Nelson, I was like, this is like one of the great new actors. And then he played such an annoying part in like 3 different movies, and I was like, I think he's like overrated real quickly. I thought he was Drive was like so overrated, like his performance in that, it was nothing. And then, do you ever see Gangster Squad where he has like a high pitched voice? He sounds like retarded.
No, I've never
like,
seen
fucking,
he wears like a little bowly hat, and he's
Yeah,
like, it's like a
he just-
mobster type of deal.
He just started making, he's like, hey. He just started making bad choices. And now he's getting good as like a lighthearted like actor.
Right.
But like, yeah, I don't know. He's kind of like Edward Norton in the sense that he's not, maybe the hype came a little too soon. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, but I do think like Ed Norton has Fight Club and Ryan Gosling has, Blue Valentine. which is Place Beyond the Pines. That's the Ryan Gosling performance I really love.
I'll be honest, I don't.
La La Land. Oh.
Yeah, I just think that Edward. I mean, I do think he's great in American History X, but I think the kind of the Fight Club role he does, which is similar to Red Dragon, the role where you're dead inside, I don't find that impressive. I find that easy to do. Like you just don't act.
And also, like, I want to point out that he was considered a great actor with these great performances, but a lot of the roles, they depended on voiceover narration, which is kind of cheating, Yeah. I read like screenplay evaluation.
I hate voiceover narration. It only works one time.
Yeah, and this
Goodfellas.
American History.
Oh, I thought you were saying one time in the movie.
No.
Like you get one.
That would be
time to
really
do
weird
it.
if there's just one moment where they're like, I was just one time is like, that's me as an 8-year-old. And then you never hear that voiceover.
And you could even tell the like kind of amateurish direction of American History X because it like features voiceover narration from two different characters without justification for the switch in perspective.
By the way, also, did you notice? It was so weird. The present movie is in color. The past is black and white. But when he gets out of jail, I guess when he gets out of jail, when he hugs his family, it's black and white still. I guess they're still saying that's a flashback, even though it's earlier that day. I guess I found that kind of weird.
Yeah, and it's weird that he wins his brother back over in the course of a day.
Everything-
the timeline in this movie was so fucked up.
I got a paper to write.
Yeah, you realize
when did he write that
I
paper?
know. You realize
Did you see his computer? It was
you
so
realize
old.
it all in one day. He went to a Nazi party.
Yeah, got drunk.
Barely escaped while his brother almost got murdered. Had a reuniting with his brother, wrote an essay, and got murdered all in one day.
Where am I going to find time to get murdered? What if he got shot and he's like, wait, I didn't turn in my essay?
Also, here's another good point. How's the black kid, know he's going to the bathroom right then?
Ooh.
Plot hole.
This was the same night as the super bad party.
Yeah. Well, we can just assume maybe that black kid likes hanging out in the bathroom.
So he's going to wait
always
there
in
all day
yeah.
to murder him?
Yeah.
Everybody's got to pee.
Well, he's just like, no, you know what he was? He was like, well, I know Edward Furlong's a bad kid, so he's got to smoke a cigarette in the bathroom at least once today.
He's going to kill me with that secondhand smoke.
That's true. It was self-defense.
He blew smoke in my eye.
You know what he should do? He should say it was self-defense, and just like Edward Norton, he should go to jail for the same thing. By the way, that part was hilarious. When after he curb stops him, right? It shows a shot of Edward Norton writing the essay. Did you read what's on the essay?
No.
After he curb stops that guy, you see the essay going in the print. It says, the police felt he went too far. But here's what I say. When you got to protect your hope, how can you be sure? Unless you... Also, by the way, how does that work? Did he... what happens to the head? Does it split open?
Yeah, your jaw splits apart.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to go on another... I'm going to make another statement. I don't think Edward Norton deserves a redemption at all.
Probably not.
At all.
No.
I don't think just because if you curb, that's, first of all, you can't do some Hannibal Lecter shit. That's like serial killer shit.
A grotesque staged murder.
You can't do that and then just get raped and be like, okay, like, no, I fuck that.
No redemption for this
Yeah,
guy.
I also think that's like, yeah, that's a little fucked
The only
up.
thing I enjoyed was the sunset, you know?
You really like that beach.
It just like got me. I was like, man, I got to get away from all of this stress.
So you like movies that open and close as a beach?
Yeah.
I might recommend Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, you got to check out The Thin Red Line also.
Oh, you would love Thinner. Yeah, it's literally just shots of nature.
Yeah.
So more nature in this.
Yeah, Matt's favorite storytelling is Koyana Scotzi.
Deep cut.
Yeah, yeah. I could have gone with Pakayatsi or Nakayatsi, but I'm not.
I've never seen that. Are those good?
If you're on drugs,
Yeah.
it's just like a montage. You know, if you're like a art kid, you'll like them.
I'll watch it with Edward Furlong's narration of the essay. By the way, his narration was just the essay, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. He's a shitty writer.
Well, let's go back. Let's listen to that narration, then we'll grade the essay. Does that sound like fun, boy?
I give it a D.
And then I guess I need to quote something.
Anytime you say an essay, I guess my conclusion would be.
The matter of fact. So we're coming down to the end of the time here.
Okay.
So I figured, I wanted to see what this would be like. So I looked up a YouTube video of like the before and after photos. So first up we got Ed Norton. He looks pretty good. He looks the same.
He looks great. I mean, let's face it, it's a sexy role.
Yeah. And he didn't lose any weight, you know. So next we got Danny.
Oh my God!
wow.
Really? Is that real?
Yeah, that's real.
Edward Furlong. Is he just trying to be unrecognizable so
Yeah.
the Terminator won't know who he is?
Yeah. These days he's Edward
that was-
Fur Wide.
I feel like my Terminator line deserves more.
I was just getting. I was
ready
warming
for-
up that one. It's Rip City, dog. Population us.
All right, here we go. Doris, his mom.
Doris is my Beverly D'Angelo.
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
know this was actually the sequel to the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Wait, that's what D'Angelo looks like?
She looks real good.
She looked like she got fake tits and a fake face. Like she looks like. Well, I guess that is what she did.
Yeah,
20 years
okay, I
later.
know you can't see this because this is a podcast and Matt planned a visual element. But Matt is showing us
Oh, we
then
got
and
fur
now.
wide. You kidding me? Come on.
Matt is showing us photos of the American History X cast then and now, and it's written in the Comic Sans
Wait,
font.
let me go back for a second.
Sure.
Edward Furlong is really fat, and in that moment, without missing a beat, I said, "Is he trying to be unrecognizable so the Terminator won't kill him?" It was a good moment, and I feel like if you didn't see the fat picture, really, he's very fat now.
Matt, will you post that picture of Edward
Yeah.
Furlong?
Check out our Instagram, add 20-year-old movie, and we'll have all
Oh
this
boy!
fucking bullshit.
Not only is he fat, he's wearing his t-shirt inside out. Oh man, she was hot too.
Yeah, she really felt
That is not her.
the
Dude,
wrong hairstyle.
I love the part where she says to the fat guy, she's like, fuck you, you fat piece of shit. And he's like, well, fuck you, you Democrat. I'm like, she got off real easy on that one.
Yeah.
Well, did
Yeah,
you
he was
ever?
also taping her fucking, like he videotaped her crotch.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
I know. Yeah, I thought he had a lot of integrity before that.
Right.
But like calling her a Democrat, like she's not insulted by that.
Yeah.
I did like when Ed Norton said, "I hate all white Protestants," and I just thought, "Oh, me too."
I didn't know that was a thing. No,
You know, Protestants. Whoa!
Yeah.
He looks great,
Proof
yeah.
you can be racist and get skinny.
oh wait, we should describe what this is.
Yeah, so we've got the character Seth. What's this actor's name?
That fat guy
friend
from
two.
Boy Meets World.
Fat friend 3.
Perfect.
Seth from this film has lost the combined weight of this room.
Do you think so? God, I should be able to lose. You know, I can do that.
Aren't you
right?
getting in shape right now? That's
Yeah.
what I've heard.
Really? Is that,
Yeah.
is that the word going around?
Yeah. People have told me you've been working out a lot.
All you got to do is play basketball with your chain wallet.
Yeah, are you going to play in the Big Walkowski this year, Renan?
What is that? The basketball?
Yeah, my tournament.
Yeah, I'd like to. Sometimes I'm out of town for that shit, but I'd like to. This
The
is Farida
same.
Balk. Her new picture looking like the Catwoman she plays in Island of Dr. Moreau.
Stacy.
Yeah, Stacy looks great. She looks
She's hot.
fine,
same, yeah.
fantastic.
She's hot. She's a hot little Nazi.
Does great. He look. You know, this is just old people getting older.
This
you know?
is the black guy 20 years later
The
looking
Jew,
the exact same.
the Jewish guy. This guy's dead now, right?
No, he's still alive. He was
Okay.
he was in Nebraska.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah.
Great film.
Well, he looks. By the way, wasn't he so disturbing in that? I just realized we're not explaining any of this. This is,
Yeah. I wanted to skip over the old people. I think I got what I
but
got.
what's his name? The guy from Boy Meets World, the father. He's
Vader.
Isn't it like it's very upsetting to hear him say the N-word? I want to have a movie where every actor from a TV show I watch as a kid says the N-word.
Oh, that would be so. I mean,
Tastefully, though, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, sure, of course. I want to see Mr. Balding say "spick" on something. I just want to see.
Hey, so do you have anything to plug, or
Let's just keep on going. You can.
I felt bad for the props department in this movie. Like, I work in props as my day job, and like you have to go around and you have to ask people, "Do you have this? Do you have that?" So some poor bastard had to go around Hollywood and be like, "Yeah, do you have any like swastika stuff?"
yeah?
Wait, are you saying in big Hollywood movies they do exactly what I do for my roast? They just ask to borrow things from other people.
Oh, absolutely. When
Spielberg like, does anyone have a Jeep that looks like it'd be for like a Jurassic Park?
Like the 20th comment down.
that
He's
how
like,
it works?
yeah, I got that.
Christopher Nolan's like, anyone have a Batman mask? I haven't said what my new movie is, but does anyone have a Batman mask?
I would love to see Christopher Nolan like do an entire movie using only the resources on his Facebook.
That's a good competition. Yeah, but they all have a lot of shit. I went to the museum, the Museum of Movie Image.
Yeah.
I went to see they had a Scorsese exhibit, and it's like that museum.
It's just a mountain of cocaine. this raging bull.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you think it'd be cool because it's stuff from the movies, but when you want to see an exhibit where it's stuff from the movies, you want to see Spielberg. You don't want to see Scorsese because all it is like, this is the wife beater that De Niro wore when he beat his wife. This is the license plate for the cab that
This is Sacha Baron Cohen's costume from Hugo.
It was so boring. Yeah, it was like, this is the pipe that Joe Pesci beat someone to death. It wasn't a very good exhibit.
What was a good exhibit? Have you seen any good exhibits lately?
I have not been to an exhibit in a while.
They have new video games there. They have like independent video games. You know,
Oh, really?
they used to have the retro video games at the Moving Image. Now it's like independent video games.
What's independent?
Like like an independent developer. It's like somebody just wrote it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll probably go back there again.
Yeah, it's free on Fridays, 4 to 8 p.m.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Promo code bite the curve.
Well, I'm glad if this podcast did anything, it was allow people to know when to go to that museum for free.
Right.
Hey, on Friday, Raanan, do you have anything to plug?
Yes, I do. I will be doing the roast of the Avengers. It's a Comedy Central style roast featuring some of New York's finest comedians and Joe Walkowski. Had that ready this whole time. And Joe Walkowski. And it's basically you get to see comedians dressed as all the characters from the Avengers universe roasting each other. I'll be hosting as Rocket. I don't want to say his last name. I've already said enough racial slurs on this episode. I'll be hosting as Rocket. You got Joe Walkowski as the part he's been born to play.
I will be playing the god of Thor.
Still needs to work on his accent. We have a couple days.
I've been doing an impression. It's getting pretty good from the neck down. I want to do Thor just so I could be shirtless on stage.
Yeah, you've told me this 4 times.
Yeah, but now I'm telling other people.
Oh, right. I forgot we're doing a podcast.
I was a chubby art kid. Give me a break.
No,
I didn't know I was going to turn into this.
Dude, I'll be there jacking off. I'm happy.
My mom was 400 pounds, and now I'm an Adonis. It feels great.
Yeah.
She once fought a car in front of me.
Wasn't that one of my roast jokes against you?
Yeah, I think so. Everyone talks about my mom being fat.
But I don't. Did I do it? I said like. I don't think I did. I said she lost 200 pounds by disowning her son. Did I do that?
Yeah,
did I do that?
That was a good.
Did it go well?
That was in our fun round 3.
Oh, the one where I, if I did not in a sliding doors world, where I did not flub that first joke, I would have definitely won. No?
Okay.
But,
sure.
All right. Well, here's the thing, though. I was more laid back on the 3rd round because I thought I had lost.
People can only beat me in roast if it's a tournament and it goes immediately to tiebreaker.
Okay, yeah. I got clobbered the other day. I got called a fat faggot, and there was a 5-minute applause break. I'm never doing the.
Yeah, no,
I'm never doing the roast
no,
again.
I'll lose to every woman in those tournaments. I'll do great. I'll think I haven't won, and they'll go, all right, tiebreaker, without going to the judges. It's happened 2 times in a row.
Yeah, because you're so confident, you come off as like a bully, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true. I should wear a shirt next time.
Yeah, you should gain some
All right,
weight.
well, follow our boy Raanan.
Yeah.
Follow our boy
sorry,
Matt.
you can follow me at I'm sorry, I was gonna say my Twitter handle.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, we'll put it in the episode description too.
At R at RAA. Quit laughing over it so they can hear it. At RAANHERSHBERG. 2. The first one was taken. I'm joking. No, it's
All the moms out there following along.
No,
You know, if anyone's listening, they could just look at the episode description as it scrolls by.
okay. It's at RAANAN comedy. That's it. Raanan comedy.
Okay, you spelled Hershberg last time.
I changed it since then. I looked. Wait, what? Why was it last time? What
You
were
spelled you spelled out Raanan Hershberg, but it's Raanan comedy.
Oh, that was a joke. I try to make you laugh.
You did?
That's a bit I do at the end of podcasts. I say the whole thing and I say 2. It's funny, right?
Yeah, it's good. It's a good bit.
Do you have anything, Joel, other than the roast?
I'm gonna do a shitty show at Dromedary in 2 hours.
Oh God, I did that.
My man.
I did that last week. The goal I've done it a couple times, but the goal is it was the kind of show where the goal was to make people realize there was a comedy show happening.
That's
and
what I did it.
I failed at that.
Yeah, so that's a good thing to be doing next 7.5 years in.
And I've just got the sit down podcast. And thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for coming on, Raanan.
Oh, it's great. So much fun.
Bye.